Thank you, everybody. It's super exciting to see so many people showing up here to see a bit how we're doing security-wise online. Okay, so a bit about me. I'm a software engineer. I graduated from DTU in Denmark. I specialized in cryptography and have been dealing with hacking for quite a while. So basically what we're going to talk about today is Sitecore and how we use it, all of us. So we're going to disregard everything which is server vulnerabilities. We're only going to look at the Sitecore solutions and see where that takes us. So before we begin, there are 3 key points that I want to you all to see and acknowledge and learn by heart, and that is everything you put on the internet is visible. There's nothing hidden on the internet. It doesn't matter if you don't use a domain name or if you use a long, strange domain name, it is on the internet. And robots and other people, they don't care about the domain name. It's only for a user experience, right? So everything on the internet is on the internet, so you need to guard it. Second thing, expect automated attacks on Sitecore systems. We are now a big commercial use software, which means that there are sites explaining how this should be configured, how it should not be configured. You can go on Sitecore's own webpage and look up known vulnerabilities, which would be pretty easy for a hacker to also exploit and just run over all of you. So expect your Sitecore systems to be identified, even if they don't have a domain name, and expect them to be attacked. The third point is that I expect most of the people here deals with Sitecore, we have the power to eliminate this threat. And by doing so, by configuring our servers correctly, by patching the solutions when a known vulnerability gets out there, it's us. It's not our customers, it's us. We're the only one who can do it. So what you hear a lot is, why should we protect our site? Because we're just this small information site, or we do not have anything commercial on it. People don't care about us, which is maybe correct. There's probably little chance that a hacker would sit down and say, this information site, I'm going to whack it and I'm going to close it down just because it's fun. It can happen, but it's most likely won't happen. That's true. So what should we be afraid of? Well, there's a whole other side to it called distribution of malware, for instance, right? If I'm a hacker, I sell items, stock items on the black market, I sell DDoS attacks, I need hardware to run these attacks for me, I need to distribute the malware, infect other people using your domain names, your certificates, etc. It could also be data harvesting of your credentials, selling them on the black market, right? So you have to be afraid of this. And all of this is automated now, right? That's the devil that we're working against. So if we need to figure why we're exposed to these kind of attacks, well, we all share the same software underneath, which is Sitecore. This talk here is not that Sitecore is vulnerable or that Sitecore is the issue why we have these threats. It's not. This talk is about we share a software, so there is a great idea for me to create a bot to run through all of the sites, finding Sitecore sites. It's done on WordPress as well, all of these things, right? I'm going to just find all the public available documentation, throw a bot, see what comes up. If I get 100 servers, that's great. I didn't lose too much time on it, right? So this is what we need to deal with, all right? Robots, they don't care about your business. They just need the hardware to support their business, right? Okay, so this is what we're up against, robots. So I thought, okay, so let's do an assessment. Let's see how vulnerable we are, right? All our solutions. So I set out to create a small bot that crawled not the entire web, but it ran for a couple of days, finding Sitecore solution, fingerprinting them to their patch level, seeing which features do they expose, how many sites can I find, how many of them will be vulnerable, okay? This is what I wanted to do. And the crawler itself, I think it took 6 hours to create, okay? So this is what we're dealing with, right? It's pretty easy for the hacker who can look up these things, create a bot over a night, just set it off. I stopped mine after 3 days, but I could just have kept it running, okay? So what are we looking for? Well, if you go to the SUGCON known vulnerability page, you'll find a description of some module called Telerik, okay? You will also find that SUGCON warns you about this might lead to code execution on your servers, okay? You can also go to CV details and find out that, okay, but this is not a SUGCON issue, this is a known.NET issue. You can find plenty of links to blog posts explaining how you can attack this cryptographic weakness that Telerik has in this module, okay? All known stuff, you can be a script kiddie and you can go completely nuts, okay? So this is one of the things that I thought, okay, this could be interesting to see how many people actually exposes this on their web page, okay? Because it's a total domination. If I can put up a shell on the target machine, which reverse look back to my computer, and then I'm in, okay? So this is an instant killer. Then we got this push session. I think it's a couple of years ago now, December 2016. SUGCON explained how they had this endpoint. It could lead to potential vulnerabilities, maybe code executions. All right, cool. Let's try to examine if pages patched. There's patches for all of this, also the Telerik module, okay? It was up to us to patch our servers. So what else could we find on SUGCON? Well, misconfiguration would be a place to start, right? So that is us, the developers. Did we configure the site correctly? Am I allowed to use the SUGCON API? Am I allowed to find PowerShell extensions on the websites? All these kind of things, right? Also, it'd be funny to look how many sites I can get to the SUGCON admin domain, right? There is a lot of fun going out there, okay? So these were the attack verticals that I decided that we needed to check, and it's all plain simple, right? Everything you need to know about these attacks is online for you. I don't do anything tough. I don't crack HTTPS. I don't crack your certificates. I don't attack the certificate signer to get a copyright. This is all on our web pages, okay? So what did we actually do, or what did we achieve? Okay, so my crawler found around 3,500 SUGCON home pages, of which 30% of these were fingerprinted down to the very patch level on the system, right? So this gives me a pretty good clue which of the two first attacks could be available, right? And you might want to pay attention to this one, okay? So 44% of the sites, of the 3,500 sites I visited, 44%, that's not even half, rejected all my attempts, okay? So what about the last 56%? You can look into that now. So we talked about patch level, okay? So I did this distribution just for fun, basically. Let's see what sites are out there, right? We're mainly at 8.0, but some is running some severe old sites, okay? So my best guess is that these companies down here, either they have a big, extremely confusing setup, so they can't upgrade right now, or maybe they just don't have that many money, right? And if they don't got money to upgrade the solution, do they think they got money to patch their solutions when there is a vulnerability out there? I don't know. And an interesting thing is just, it shouldn't be this easy to fingerprint so many servers, right? So how do you actually fingerprint a SUGCON server? Well, it's easy to identify if it's a SUGCON solution. That's step one. Is it a SUGCON solution? Okay, step two, what is the version of the SUGCON kernel on it? For that, SUGCON has a endpoint, I think it's called SUGCON/shell/SUGCON.version.xml or something like that, which looks down in the SUGCON kernel DLL, and gives me the patch level back, okay? A lot of the sites didn't allow me to look at this. I guess there's some kind of firewall in between checking if I'm accessing a /sitecore site and just denying me attempt. But by coincidence, I tried to access the file by //sitecore, and you know the rest. That was pretty successful. 30%, right? So maybe you should just remove it from your CD server, right? Does it even need to be there? Why depend on the network guy setting up the firewall, okay? So 52% of your sites, of our sites, supports the vulnerable Telerik module, okay? That's half. So if to say it, I didn't try to hack anybody, I just fingerprinted, okay? I haven't hacked anyone. 52%, that's nice, okay? That's good. That's a good conversion rate for my business, right? It really is. And it's with known patches, right? There's absolutely no reason why so many servers should be vulnerable to this, okay? This made me happy. So the push session thing, only 2% of the servers didn't patch for this, okay? So we got something right. I don't know if SUGCON were better to explain this issue or if it just got hyped a lot. But apparently we're pretty good at protecting ourselves against this issue, which is awesome. Too bad it ain't the same thing for our 52%er here, right? Because it's just as easy to fix this one. You can even set up Octopus deploy to ensure that this is just removed when you put your stuff out there, right? So 114 sites allows you access to services like show config. It allows you access to the DB browser or the update installation wizard. This is pretty neat, right? I just use the tools there just to upload my stuff, right? Well, it's so easy. 2.2 of your sites, of our sites, exposes the show config.aspx, no authentication required, right? Interesting. We don't have anything in it anyway, so. 200 of our sites features PowerShell extensions. That's 5.6%, okay? They shouldn't be on a CD server. The PowerShell extension team explicitly states it in their documentation. Don't put this out there, okay? This is meant for you developers to enhance your development, to be efficient, to be productive, to have nice tooling, okay? Don't put it out to the World Wide Web, okay? 5.6%. Why even bother getting a remote terminal on the server if I already got one, okay? There goes my payload, doesn't need to make that, okay? 27% of the visited nodes exposes the SUGCON login. Just exposes it. It doesn't have to be a problem, okay? But 50% of them exposes it over HTTP, so no SSL required at all. We can have a long talk if it's necessary to have a login page available on your interface with the web, okay? So it's probably pretty nice to have it behind a VPN or something like that, okay? But it is not criminal in itself. But this is criminal in itself, okay? Because this allows me to phish the passwords of the editors if I can lure them through my machine, okay? Not too good. This one is great. I mean, come on, guys. Seriously? So this is, of course, through the SUGCON API login, okay? This is the only sort of shady things that I did with the servers that I came by, okay? I tried to post a admin B login to your servers, okay? 5% of them, yeah, come on in. We're not doing anything here, not at all. That's just a freaking no-go, okay? Fun fact, if you have access to the database, you can spawn a terminal through a stored procedure call in the SQL database, okay? So this is instant whack as well, okay? Not good. So if we need to sum up, this was all easy stuff, okay? 6 hours of work. 6 hours of work, okay? Expect your sites to be crawled, okay? Expect your sites to be attacked, okay? And this is just the simple stuff. The next thing you could do, if I were a hacker, I would say, okay, site code, well, it runs on Windows servers, okay? Let's fingerprint the Windows servers, see if it's get updated regularly. In many cases, it doesn't, okay? This Telerik module here, I did not hack it, okay? So it can actually be configured in such a way that it's at least very hard to hack it. So saying that 52% of you have it completely vulnerable might not be, okay? You guys know it. You know if you've patched your Telerik, okay? But even if we disregard that, 13.4% of your servers is still whacked by the bot, which was written in 6 hours, okay? So what are we going to do about this? Well, one thing that you often hear is, like, we can bring up the cow again, right? Our customers did not tell us to fix it. Really? We're consultants, at least many of us are, okay? We're the technical guys, okay? Don't expect your customers to know how to scan a website for vulnerabilities and ask you guys to fix it, okay? So I wrote a small script. I can put it online if you want, but basically it's just, why was I hired? Because you're the expert, okay? Otherwise, they'll be sitting at their, whatever they're doing, desk, and be doing their development themselves, right? They don't know this. They don't know that just because they're running SiteCore X version, they could have this potential vulnerabilities. They won't go ask you. They depend on you telling them. I'm pretty sure if you tell them, hey, do you want to be part of a bot network distributing child pornography? I bet your ass you're going to get paid to fix it. If not, maybe we should talk about if that's a customer you even want to serve, okay? Because when it comes down to it, we might be fine. Okay, let's say we have this epic consultant company, right? We all are epic consulting companies. We develop many sites for our customers. We have multiple customers. There is a big freaking firewall between each of the solutions. There's so secure. But are they really? So if I just take one site down in your production portfolio, just one site, okay? How would you feel about any of the sites that you're developing? I would probably say, okay, so if I take down this site, I attach a small script listening to the login, and eventually maybe a developer from your company will log in, and perhaps that developer uses the same password there that he uses other places, or he might even use that password on his own PC in the network, okay? So I would say if you got one whack customer, you should probably see the bomb soon, okay? And this is, you can have all the best security, right? But it's the weakest link that the hacker will go for, okay? You can have this little scam documentation site, nobody cares, and you can have a finance sector company, okay? I'll just take the little guy and hope that that guy can bring me to the big guy, okay? So it is our responsibilities as developers to guide our customers, every single one of them, into having secure sites, okay? Every one of them. So the 3 points again. Nothing on the internet is hidden, okay? I didn't look at domains when I crawled, okay? I just looked at IP addresses. If a domain is required for you to see the site, well, you can exchange the IP address for a domain and try again, okay? Automated attacks on SiteCore systems are to be expected. I don't know the exact amount of home pages out there built on site-core solutions, but there's a lot now, okay? There's a lot, so it would be naive to think that there isn't a hacker already, or maybe 100,000 hackers already trolling through your sites, looking for these things, installing backdoors, throwing DDoS attacks from your systems, mining bitcoins. That seems to be the trend, okay? Final small notice. Once again, the most important thing about this presentation, we need to fix this. I did this scan, I think day before I came down here. I just took all these sets of sites that I've been through, and I tried to look for this range of subdomains, okay? There was a really small brute force attack here. Not on your site. You will never even know that I just figured out these sites exist, okay? I just looked them up in a domain name server, which is publicly available. So you would never know that I just figured out that you got the development environment out there. Never. And I could maybe fingerprint one of your other sites, figure out, go to LinkedIn, see what kind of solutions you're working with, okay? Should they really be out there, all of these? I have a fun example. This one is great. Of course, it has to be out there because it serves probably media, like this one, to your site. It needs to be out there for your site to probably function, okay? But when I attack, and trust me, I did, when I attack some domain that seems strong, figure out it has a subdomain called media, and I post admin B to that one, and I'm successfully logged in, then we have an issue, okay? So we need to be aware of the entire stack of computers and hardware we put out there, okay? Because I'm just going for the weakest link, okay? I think we're a little early, but that was the key points I had. So if there's any questions, you are welcome to ask.
Yeah. Thank you, Mikkel. Amazing talk. I will walk around with the microphone for questions. Also, very important topic.
How much are you charging to let us know if we're on your list?
I don't have the list anymore, okay? And I never, ever looked into what domains it was. It was just a proof of concept, right? So I don't know who's on the list, but I'm guessing when 3,500 of the sites are scanned, some of us will be on that list, okay? What we can do is maybe, because all of this stuff that I did can be fully automated, okay? It can be fully automated, running in a batch job, checking all your customer solution every morning after every deploy, and give you a little ping back if something's wrong, right? We should all be having that on our sites, okay? Because it's just one clone database, fuck up, whatever you want to call it, that gives us these issues, okay? To quote maybe Thomas Elblom, he just spoke about the site-core installation framework, which is probably going to close down the 13-point-something% of the sites that was misconfigured, right? So you need to get to know the tools you use and configure them such that every time, you don't have to reconfigure it, right? Every time you deploy, you get what you want to have out there and nothing else, okay?
More questions? Oh, over there.
Can you provide the scripts that you use that we can use as a kind of benchmark to test our environments?
So if I can host the scripts, or
that you can give us some examples.
I'm not completely sure I get it though.
Try it again. Can you give us the scripts that you used that we can use to test our own sites?
That's the thing that I've thought a lot about, and then we need to figure out how this exchange model is going to be, right? Because you don't want that script in the wrong hands, right? Because this is all of our solutions, okay? We could maybe try to profine it or something. So if you can if you can verify that you own this domain, we can check if it's present or not, okay? I don't know, we can maybe figure that out, see what happens. I would rather not share these scripts, and I'm actually going to probably delete most of the data now that the speak is over, because what if my computer get hacked? Shit.
Art's running around.
So usually when you are about to finish a product and it's about to be deployed for production, you arrange some sort of penetration tests, and usually they come with different pricing, and like you want the top goal report, whatever it is. What would you recommend when we have to ask for a penetration test for a SUGCON project? What we should require in the report to be shown?
Well, you definitely need them to validate these things, but some of the issues that I've seen from these penetration testing companies is that they don't know all systems out there, right? So you need to provide them with knowledge about, hey, please check if X is available because this is a SUGCON feature, right? They don't know everything. They will probably test your Windows server or Linux server or something like that, right? Which is perfectly valid. They need to test this as well. This is only the SUGCON, but you need to prep them correctly for doing their penetration test, okay? But we are all developers here who knows all of this stuff, and it takes 6 hours to create it, right? There's nothing stopping you from just create it, right? It's a day's work.
I want to push in some quick advertisement for the SUGCON security hardening guidelines that we all should know about and read and follow. This cover most of this, at least, as long as we follow them. Yeah. So.
Yes, one question regarding the competition of SUGCON. Have you hacked other commercial products which are our competition, like EpiServer or something, and how does those results compare to this? I mean, because SUGCON sometimes can be so complicated and not always well documented. That's also the cause of the results of today.
Yeah, I've never hacked anything else. But I won't say if I knew, because that is not the point in this show, okay? But what I can tell is that I have a WordPress site for a friend. I don't use it for anything, and it has been, just being out there for a year or something. And I tried to log into it for, I think, a month ago to see how is it actually going on this site. And there is a steady thing, or 200 requests every day or something. It's a small site. But every once a month, with the exact interval, I get 40,000 requests from a Chinese IP address, okay? So I need to do some housekeeping on that next weekend, because I'm probably already part of some DOS network here, okay? If you ever tried to have a WordPress solution and you try to allow SSL, or SSH, sorry, well, I guess from the log file, it won't go hours before you see the first attempts coming in, okay? There are bots all over the place, okay?
Thank you. Any last questions? We do have time for more.
Well, just out of curiosity, can you provide us with some, well, maybe log strings that we can check in our own log files?
If I can provide you information on the IP address I use to fingerprint your sites, okay? That's what I'm hearing.
No, we just want, well, maybe the IP address, yeah. Or something else, maybe I was here or something like some message.
I was thinking about trying to see if I could, it's quite a big work when it's 3,500. So I have been trying to figure out if there's some way if I can email the provider or something. I could maybe email you guys and just send you the links, and then you can check it yourself, right? You can also look for a IP address which will probably not be coming from Denmark. I think the last one I used was in Germany somewhere, and I also used one in France. I think it will be too hard work for you guys to figure it out. I don't have the IP addresses anymore. Yeah, so there's definitely some follow-up here that we need to figure out how we're going to do.
Okay.
But again, can I say one thing? This is really simple stuff. Okay, there's nothing cryptographic hard about this. Okay, it's just fingerprinting. If a domain works, if the version is correct, etc.
Wow, amazing talk. We do have time for one last question. Okay, otherwise, thank you, Mikkel.